Hey guys, what's going on? So I just wanted to talk about something a little bit important before we move on to the next sections. This is about packages that you install on your IDEs or your integrated development environments. And the thing about packages is that because so far we have used Replit, and Replit actually is an online IDE, and really it's not if you don't usually really use packages in there. And by packages I mean like when you import something. For example, if you remember in our calculator app that we created, we were importing from Replit import clear, right? So like we were importing this function from Replit, right? Now if you actually use this code, if you just drop this code on your PyCharm and run it, one of the things that can happen is that it's actually might not going to work. You might get an error for this. And the reason for this is because you're not on Replit, you don't actually have access to the Replit module, right? So with that being said, one of the things that you need to do is you need to import the Replit module to your IDE. And this is actually pretty common. If you remember, we talked about modules and how do you actually import it. For example, if I have a new file in my file structure, let's say I'm going to call this, for example, a data and data py, right? So if you actually, let's say we have a function here, it's a mon function, and we're going to say, for example, n1, n2, and again all that stuff. So if I want to import this, and like for example, total equals n1 plus n2 and return total. All right, so let's say this is our module, all right? This is our function, and I obviously want to import this in the main py, right? So let's actually separate this, put them into two separate screens. There you go. So if I want to do this, obviously usually because we have the file locally, we have the file available, I'm just going to say from data import my function, right? So like we can do this, right? So let me just copy this real quick. There you go. So we can actually do this and import this. So that's not a problem at all. But one of the things about importing packages or importing modules from other platforms is that obviously we don't have the Replit module in our IDE locally. So how do we do this? So each IDE has its own way of installing something. So for example, in PyCharm, I want to demonstrate this. In PyCharm, the way you install packages is that you go to your settings, or to what was it? There you go, view. Okay, so that's the menu you want to go. And you want to go to Python packages. So like that's where you go and install. So like if I click on this, as you see, I already have Replit and I've already installed it. For example, if I install Flask, what you can do is you can just like click on it and it's going to install it. So that's just like that. You can actually install these. Obviously these are installed packages. I already have Flask, but you get the idea. You can actually install a lot of packages by just searching for it, right? So that's how you actually you can do this. So for example, the Django, I can install the Django, and if I want this, for example, again, we'll talk about the Django later on, don't worry about it right now, but like you can click on it, you search here and you click on it and you can install it right here by clicking install package. So just like that, you install the package and you can use it. And same is with Replit. So Replit, I'm just going to search for it, and again when I click on it, it's gonna give me the option to install. Obviously I already have it installed, so I don't actually need to do this, but that's how you install packages in PyCharm. Right now, the way you actually do it on Visual Studio Code is actually a little bit different. On the Visual Studio Code, I mean, there are, I think, different ways to do this, but the way I know at least is that on your terminal right here, when you like type something, this is where your app runs, right? So like if I actually click on this and my app, again, my code is going to run, for example, 10 plus 20 and all that. Again, that's just how it works. So right here, okay, let me just exit this. There we go. So let's clear this out. So right here, the way you do this is that you click you need to type pip3 or pip. I don't know which one is correct one, because sometimes the pip3 works, sometimes the pip works. So either way, if you see if the pip3 doesn't work, you want to go with pip. Install, and you can say Python or for example Replit. So like just like that, it's going to install the Replit package and you can actually download it and you're good to go. Now you can actually use the Replit in your code, the Replit module in your code. So just like that, you install a package or Python package. So again, different ways to install it on different IDEs, but like either way, either you're using Visual Studio Code or or PyCharm, that's how you do it. Now I like PyCharm because it just makes everything a lot cleaner and easier, honestly. So that's why I actually like it a lot, but either way. So I just want to share this with you guys, so in case if you come across a situation where you're running a code and you don't have access to the module, and the module is giving you an error because you don't have it, that's how you actually install it on these IDEs. So let me know if you have any questions, guys. If not, I'll see you in the next lessons.